Rational argument
fish.
Wow.
That's right.
Cool.
New product next week.
Yes.
It'd be like the Jesus fish, only rational.
Gefilte fish, yeah.
Well, let's see. During the clips, the studio told me we can end the show however we want to end the show. So we could get naked.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
We could bring it up.
Nobody wants to see this anymore.
Oh, look, it looks like we have Hamish on the line. And you can just,
We're not taking that call.
You just mean to him. I swear.
It was mean, but I feel like when people
had a
abuse
long
the show, it's mean. I feel like it's mean when people call all time with the same shtick and try to make it and like Russell said, you can't even tell if he's a prank, and nobody will even take his calls anymore except for Russell. And it's just like when you reach that point, you're abusing our program. You are wasting our time, and so it's like if it takes a little wrist slap to kind of get you to understand the lesson. Then so be it.
Okay.
And
watch out
see.
for you.
So
takes a little wrist slap.
this is your. They'll make this the last opportunity now. So starting with Don, last opportunity to say something.
I hope we can do this another 20 years. It's been a fun ride.
I'll be old.
Already there.
Jamie.
No, I thought you were all ageless. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
I wish.
I can't think of anything else clever to say. That's
Really?
why
It doesn't even have to be clever. It can be, just about.
Well, I've said something that's not clever.
Oh, haven't we all?
No, I don't know. I feel like, yes, an appreciation for what the people do backstage is good, but I feel like sometimes you guys don't appreciate what you bring to the show because people miss that, right? Yeah, like you discussed earlier the quote that you had in the call where they ended up. If I had the ability to stop someone from raping a child, I would. That's the difference between me and your God.
Right.
Which is a quote that's become a meme and stays a meme because it succinctly answers a question and communicates the problem of evil. And that one in particular is sort of a line, not to offend anyone, but that's incredibly valuable, and that's why you keep getting sent the same. Like, oh, this one's reversed. It's
like
a different.
You said, 20 years later.
You're still, but
I don't. Can people hear? People can't. Yeah, we're here in the studio. People can't. They just basically.
Mark just told us that he's going to cue it up after this.
Well, I thought what he was saying is that when the show was done, like after the show had ceased to exist, the meme would still go on. Like it's never going to die. Right?
That's true as well.
The clip will actually play after this
He's
show.
actually gonna play the clip.
In our
Okay.
500 hours.
And I will get the memes again. Okay.
But it's clear that's the reason that the people in the booth and myself and the people that are now watching through the glass do what we do, is so that you guys can get up here and talk.
hosts and co-hosts on the show come and go and have come and gone. And this 20-year anniversary is a really good example of how many people have come and gone that have been associated with the show. If any one of us were to leave, the show would continue. There would be a new person put on. It would just go on as a new with a little bit of a different voice.
Get a life of its own.
It is the show that matters, not the people. And I think that's a real important takeaway, that don't get too attached to personalities on the program. It's about the content, and there's a lot of people that put that come together, put that content out. It is not about personalities, and it should never be that, and I hope it never becomes that. And I actually get disappointed when some people kind of receive it in that way.
A little too fan conscious.
Yeah.
You're not a big fan of
Fans.
You like fans, but
I like people that appreciate the effort, and what it does.
The fawning is a bit much.
Right. But I
don't get any of that.
I don't like.
Tracie gets it, but
I don't like when it becomes like cult of personality. That's not what it should be. I mean, it almost reminds me of that film Kumare, where he's trying the philosophy of he's a guru that tells people to be their own guru. Right? Like that's his message.
All leaders are fakers.
Yeah.
And I'm the biggest faker of all. And he's actually pretending to be
Yes.
And it's kind of amazing. I mean, I feel like what the show, for me anyway, as an ex-conservative Christian, is about getting people out of that idea of of aggrandizing a personality, of worshiping something or exalting something in some way. And it doesn't have to be to the level of a god. Just looking at other people and thinking they're better than yourself in a real human value way, to me, to the self. So people should see themselves as more, I mean, yes, we all have different capabilities, but in the end, we're all human beings and we do have an equal value. And that's one of the things I like about living in a country where, at least theoretically, we are told that the ideal should be to strive for equality, no matter what your capacity, no matter what no matter what you're born into. And when I see people lose sight of that and say things about like looking up to somebody, or they put you on a pedestal in some way, or they use language that is like puts somebody here and someone there, I get really disappointed. That's what religion does to people. That's what religion teaches you. And when you get out of that, you should work very hard to get away from that idea that someone's telling you something, or that you need to listen to someone else, or that someone is so much smarter that you should just do what they say, or just believe whatever they say.
Make up your own mind, be your own person.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can trust that because Tracie said
it.
Right. But Tracie, what if they're rich and famous?
Yeah. And so here's your opportunity.
Yeah, going kind of off what we were saying about how many hosts and co-hosts we've had over the years and stuff like that, it's never anything where we've run auditions and had people come in and try out for the spot. I mean, try out, come on as a guest.
It's a great point.
If you just want to do something. I remember Matt even coming on. It was when I was hosting the show, and he was a caller. He called in. We had I can't even remember now, but he ended up coming to the after dinner show. It was at Chili at the time, so he sat down with us and we had a good chat. It was a lot of fun. He started coming to the show, helping out, doing prep and things like that, setting up. And then one day Jeff didn't show up as a co-host that day for whatever, some cancellation. I'm hosting. Matt, you want to be on today? Sure. Take a seat. Get mic'd up. We're on in 30 seconds.
Well, to be fair, he had a topic in his pocket that he had prepared for just such an occurrence. So kudos for preparation too.
I actually love that point. I'm glad you're making it. And one of the things that I've been confronted with at some of the events and dinners and things are people coming up to me and saying, "Well, how would I get on the show?"
Ask.
And not ask. I usually say, first get involved. So the first thing you're going to want to do is join the group, because you can never be on the show unless you're a member. Okay. So you need to have a membership with ACA. Then start volunteering and show that you have something to offer. Like I came to the group saying I have this cartoon that I'm working on that I've been drawing and that I want to pursue, and what does anybody think of this? And I go, so you have to kind of, and like with Matt, he was serving on the board of directors. He was taking on a lot of tasks that people didn't want to do. I think a lot of people see this idea of, Matt as this person that was hosting the show, and he's this big atheist name, and they don't get the behind the scenes of all the years that he worked so hard as a volunteer, putting in hours. Not just doing the show before anybody knew what it was, but also being on the board and even serving as president for several years, I think it was. And that entailed, like I say, taking on a lot of tasks that no one else wanted to do. I mean, we have like several people usually on the board that work very hard to do for a larger group that we don't get a lot of support from the larger group. I mean, it's the people that are involved in the board, it's a lot of work. And they do a lot of that. And I think sometimes people don't understand that Matt just didn't step on to a host role on a streaming show that had like a lot of a big, audience. He worked super hard.
Yeah. Let me add to that. One of the other ways that Matt has paid his dues, and a lot of folks in this room have done so also, but to him to a larger extent, is he's done just a huge amount of online debating with folks and this interaction, and you become very practiced over time, and you hear the arguments, and you know how to kind of lead these arguments to a success. And I think that he has really paid his dues there. I know Tracie, you and Denis, and a lot of the other folks have done a lot in that respect. But that's a big part of, I think, being an atheist, being a public atheist.
Yeah, but I think. To Ashley's point about not having interviews or not having auditions, I mean, for example, I know that John Iacoletti's background and for how he got on the show, he was on the crew for a while, for a long time. And then what happened was we had a slot and there was some discussion about it, and John stepped forward and he said, hey, I've put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and opportunity. And we were like, that's fair. Give the man an opportunity, and so now he co-hosts. And
he's a sweetheart.
So, but the point is, it's not just about stepping in and saying, I would like to be in front of the camera and do the show. It's like I think people don't see it because it's that invisible part. But everybody up here is putting in hours, has put in hours, has devoted themselves, has worked, has manned booths at Pride Fest, has, and like done all these things to serve in ACA for a long time, not just standing here doing the hosting or the co-hosting.
I had to climb that wheeled ladder in the studio and point the light 10 minutes until it's shown on Just Stage Just Right.
Quite a bit of an art to that.
Yeah.
Before they said, sure, you want
surprisingly,
Anybody that thinks that you just come in, say, hi, I'm, Jane or Joe or whoever, and I'm just going to sit in the seat. And it's like, no, you have to show the dedication that other people have shown to get into the.
Everybody knows the atheism. Most people also know the Austin, but only very few people realize that there's the community. Yeah. And that's what this is.
It is, and it's work.
Yeah.
And so, Denis, here's your opportunity.
Well, what surprises me is the depth of that we have on the listeners or viewers. They'll come out with, you made me feel less alone. I thought I was the only atheist, and then I saw your program. And it's like, whoa, we're it's like, should I feel responsible for stuff? It's pretty surprising.
Okay, so we're going to roll out of here, but I do want to just respond to that really quickly because I think that's an excellent point as well. People will ask me sometimes about my experience and that sort of connection. What I find is that atheists, like myself, sometimes we take, I guess, for granted the amount of atheist community that we have, because we have such a great community here in Austin, and there are areas where people are far more isolated, and I find that the people who are most touched are generally the people who don't have that community where they are, or they're surrounded by communities that are especially conservative.
And
so it is very important for them to see the outreach.
People who are alone and afraid of being outed and things like that.
And it's hard sometimes for me to relate to that, living where I do and being involved in this like I am with all these great people. All right, so everybody that's up here, I want to thank all the people that were up here previously that aren't here
a
now.
handful of
I
folks
want
that couldn't make
to
it
thank
today,
the
unfortunately.
crew, and I want to thank
Audience.
the audience and the viewers and just everybody involved with the success of this program. We're just so grateful and humbled, I think, for where we've come in the last 20 years. It's just been an awesome ride from beginning to end, thanks to all the people that had the idea, the inception of the program, to actually even start this so many years ago. It's amazing.